Looking for inspiration, motivation, and the good news of Jesus Christ? Look no further. The Daily Gospel Network has what you need. With more than 300 ministries from all over the country broadcasting every week, you're sure to get your dose of spirit-filled encouragement from the great programs on the Daily Gospel Network. Catch the Daily Gospel Network on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, all mobile devices, and the internet.
Attention ministry leaders. Have you ever considered growing your ministry with television? Well, the Daily Gospel Network could be what you've been looking for. As one of the nation's largest Christian broadcasting companies, the Daily Gospel Network broadcast all over the world on popular streaming platforms like Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. If you're looking to grow and reach more people, the Daily Gospel Network could be your solution.
Healing, salvation, and happiness. It's your season. It's your time. God has plans for your life to prosper you and to give you hope and a future. Join us and learn how God's love and power can bring hope and happiness to your life. This is your opportunity for motivation, encouragement, and purpose.
Welcome, church family. It's Amy Smith with another great segment of the Daily Gospel Network International, where we bring you the Word of God, inspiration, and soul-stirring encouragement from ministries, churches, and pastors from all over the world. And today is no different. Let's take a listen to one of our great ministries.
And as I said, there is a word on tonight. The topic that I have is called, I Got an Anchor, and my anchor will not let me drown. Again, my topic on tonight is I got an anchor, and my anchor will not let me drown. Do you believe that you have an anchor? And if you have an anchor, who is your anchor? I tell you, the anchor on tonight is none other than Jesus Christ himself. I'm going to be coming from Acts 27, starting at verse 1. And I ask that you be a little patient with me because the scriptures is a little lengthy, but I got to go through the scriptures to get to the story so you can get the meat and get what you need to hear on tonight. So if we start at Acts 27, starting at the first verse, it says, when it was decided that we would sail for Italy, Paul and some other prisoners were handed over to Centurion named Julius, who belonged to the imperial regiment. We boarded a ship from Adrenium about to sail for ports along the coast of the province of Asia, and we put out to sea. Ascrius, a Magdalene from Thessalonica, was with us. The next day we landed at Sidon, and Julius, in kindness to Paul, allowed him to go to his friends so that they may provide for his needs. From there, we put out to sea again and passed to the lee of Cyprus because the winds were against us. When we had sailed across the open sea, off the coast of Cilicia and Philippia, we landed at Myra in Cilicia. There, the Centurion found an Alexandrian ship sailing for Italy and put us on board. We made slow headway for many days and had difficulty arriving off Cnidus. When the wind did not allow us to hold our course, we sailed to the lee of Crete, opposite Salmon. We moved along the coast with difficulty and came to a place called Fair Havens near the town of Lasea. Much time had been lost, and sailing had already become dangerous because by now it was after the Day of Atonement. So Paul warned them, men, I can see that our voyage is going to be disastrous. Bring the great loss to ship and cargo, and to our own lives also. But the centurion, instead of listening to what Paul said, followed the advice of the pilot and of the owner of the ship. Since the harbor was unsuitable to winter in, the majority decided that we should sail on, hoping to reach Phoenix and winter there. This was a harbor in Crete facing both southwest and northwest. When a gentle south wind began to blow, they saw their opportunity, so they weighed anchor and sailed along the shore of Crete. Before very long, a wind of hurricane force called the northeastern swept down from the island. The ship was caught by the storm and could not head into the wind, so we gave way to it and were driven along. As we passed to the lee, to the sea of a small island called Claudia, we were hardly able to make the lifeboat secure, so the men hoisted it abroad. Then they passed ropes under the ship itself to hold it together, because they were afraid that they would run aground on the sandbars of the Cyprus. They lowered the sea anchor and let the ship be driven along. We took such a violent battering from the storm that the next day they began to throw the cargo overboard. On the third day, they threw the ship's tackle overboard with their own hands. When neither sun nor stars appeared for many days, and the storm continued raging, we finally gave up all hope being saved. After they had gone a long time without food, Paul stood up before them and said, men, you should have taken my advice not to sail from Crete. Then you would have spared yourself this damage and loss. But now I urge you to keep up your courage, because not one of you will be lost. Only the ship will be destroyed. Last night, an angel of God, to whom I belong, whom I serve, stood beside me and said, do not be afraid, Paul. You must stand trial before Caesar, and God has gracefully given you the lives all of who have sailed with you. So keep up your courage, men, for I have faith in God that it will happen just as he told me. That nevertheless, we must run aground on some island. On the fourth night, we were still being driven across the Adriatic Sea. When about midnight, the sailors sensed that they were approaching land. They stood soundings and found that the water was 120 feet deep. A short time later, they took soundings again and found it was 90 feet deep. Fearing we would be dashed against the rocks, they dropped 4 anchors from the stern and prayed for daylight. In the attempt to escape from the ship, the sailors let the lifeboat down into the sea, pretending that they were going to lower some anchors from the bow. But Paul said to the surgeon and the soldiers, unless these men stay with the ship, you cannot be saved. So the soldiers cut the ropes that held the lifeboat and let the drift go away. Again, my topic today is I got an anchor, and my anchor will not let me drown. So let me tell you what an anchor is. Now, when we think of an anchor, we think of the anchor that's on the sailboat. The anchor is a funny looking metal hook that is attached to a boat or ship, and along that attachment, there is a cable that is cast abroad. And when that cable is cast abroad, its place is to be able to hold the ship and the boat into a particular place. Once it's thrown out, the objective is for it to hook and dig or clinch to the bottom level of a sea to stop whatever is being held in place. So the whole goal is for it to be held into a steady place without it being removed. But the anchor, even though its purpose is to stop and to hold, sometimes that anchor does not stop the boat because it does not always operate the way that it is intended to operate. It does not always grip and hold the way that it is intended to hold. So that means that anchor becomes temporary. And even though it's there to hold, it don't always get the job done. But even though that is the anchor, yes, but that is not the anchor that I'm talking about. The anchor that I'm talking about is the anchor that will never fail you. This anchor that I'm talking about provides a firm foundation. It provides security to those that need to be secure. It represents God, faith, wealth, health, and it is a strong structure that which keeps us steadfast and gives us hope during the trials and the storms of life. Now, when you think about this anchor, sometimes we think about adversity, and sometimes adversity knocks on your door. Sometimes adversity knocks on my door. But when adversity knocks on your door, who will be your anchor to come to the door and answer the door? Do you have an anchor in Jesus? Adversity comes in many different forms. And over my lifetime, and probably your lifetime, you have experienced these forms at some of the oddest times, at the times where you least expect it. Here comes adversity. And adversity has knocked on probably all of our doors. And what I have found out is when adversity comes, it comes at a time where it causes a big inconvenience, a big inconvenience for you and a big inconvenience for me. It comes at a time in our lives when we really didn't need it. It comes at a times in our life when we really didn't want it. It comes at a time where it's just not the right time at all. Today, adversity is still something that is still present at this very time. Adversity comes at a time where we just don't want it. It's just chaotic sometimes when it comes. Adversity comes at a time where we feel like finally I'm at a time in my life where it seems like everything is going so well, everything is intact, everything is looking up, everything is going steady. And then before you know it, here comes adversity. I just got over one hurdle. Now here comes another hurdle. Then here comes another hurdle. And before you know it, we find ourselves faced with many storms all at one time. Have you ever gone through adversity? These storms just keep coming. They come from the east. They come from the west. They come from the north. They come from the south. They come through our finances. They come through our bills. They come through our families. They come through our health, our children, our spouses, our jobs. These storms even sometimes come through the church. So many storms that come. And sometimes we have to say to ourselves, when will we get a break? Because I need a breather here. Because every time I turn around, there is adversity knocking on my door. If we can be real and honest with each other, somebody right now is probably in the middle of adversity. If we can be real with each other right now, somebody just got through going over getting through adversity or going through a storm. If we can be honest right now, somebody is probably at their breaking point. Somebody probably is feeling weary right now, and somebody is probably wanting to give up. Have you ever felt like that in your life? Let's be real about it. But I know the Bible says in Galatians 6 and 9, do not get weary in well doing. even regardless of whatever storm that comes in your life. Even at your breaking point, there is still some good news. I said, even at your breaking point, there is still some good news. Even in the middle of your storm, and regardless of what you are going through, there is still some good news. And I came to bring you some good news on today. Hebrews 7:19 says, we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. It enters the inner sanctuary behind the curtain. Hold on. Don't lose hope, because there is an anchor in the midst of your storm. I said, hold on and don't lose hope, because there is an anchor in the midst of your storm, and that anchor will carry you through safely to your destination. That anchor will hold you. That anchor will rock you. That anchor will mold you. That anchor will keep you. That anchor will keep you steady and keep you on solid ground. I'm not talking about the anchor on that boat, but I'm talking about the anchor that we have in Jesus. Jesus is my anchor. I got an anchor, and my anchor will not let me drown. Who is your anchor today? Like I said, I came to deliver the good news today to you. And that good news is for you not to give up, for you not to give up, for you not to get worried, for you not to flip out, because we have an anchor, and that anchor is in Jesus. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to paraphrase what we just read from Acts 27, 1 through 32. So let me go down and let me tell you what was going on. Here we find out in Acts 27 that we have Paul, who was falsely accused of imprisonment. He was transported to a ship to Rome. Paul looked at and said that they should not continue the journey because he felt that they needed to turn around, because it would not be a good thing for them, because there was a horrific storm that appeared that they would not be able to make through. The storm was so heavy that it blew the ship off course, and it caused to break up near the island of Malta. Paul looked at it and said that they shouldn't go at all. As a matter of fact, they need to turn around right now. And in the midst of the storm, an angel appeared to Paul and told him that every man on the ship would be saved. God's protection allowed Paul and the others on the ship to arrive to Rome, having survived a storm, being shipwrecked, and even being snake bitten. Psalms 46:1 says, God is our refuge and strength in an everlasting present time of help. Your storm may have been, your storm could have been, your storm may look like, and your storm may have felt like, but in the midst of it all, you still can come out like pure gold. It could have been, it would have been, and it should have been, but it is not. Somebody got an anchor. Somebody say today that I have an anchor, because you do have an anchor. I'm not talking about the boat again. I'm talking about the anchor that keeps us steadfast and unremovable. They don't even make this anchor. You can't even buy this anchor in the store, because this anchor is not for sale. I said that you can't even buy this anchor. You cannot find this anchor in the store, because this anchor that I'm talking about is not for sale. Do you have the right anchor? Some anchors we throw out there, they don't even land on solid ground. What ground is your anchor landing on? Some of us are hopping on the wrong boat without having an anchor to help us stay in place. Somebody's boat is headed to destruction, and it's about to shipwreck. It's about to crash because we have boarded the wrong ship and ain't got an anchor that's in sight. What are you anchored in? Are you anchored in your job? Wrong anchor. Are you anchored in your husband? Wrong anchor. If you're anchored in your wife, wrong anchor. If you're anchored in your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your mom and your dad, wrong anchor. If you're anchored in your children, no, that's wrong anchor. If you're anchored in your friends, that's the wrong anchor. If you're anchored in materialistic things, that I tell you, that is definitely the wrong anchor, because the only anchor that's going to get us safely to our destination is going to be the very anchor that we have in Jesus Christ. They were shipwrecked, but they were saved. Somebody sinning, about to be swallowed up, but God wants to save you. The winds may blow, your soul may be anchored. The sun may not shine, the stars may be hidden in the clouds, but my soul is still in the Lord. I'm anchored because Jesus died. And then on Sunday morning, what did he do? He rose up again with all power in his hand. I got something, I don't know about you, to shout about on today. I got something to live for. What about you on today? I got something to keep fighting for. I got something and someone that I could tell all my troubles to. And somebody said he won't even tell nobody else. I got the answer and the problem. And the problem and the answer is all with Jesus Christ. I got a problem solver, and I got a mind regulator. I got a burden bearer and a fixing Jesus and a wheel in the middle of the wheel. He is my strong tower, my bridge in cloudy, muddy waters. He is my friend when I'm friendless, and he is a present help in the time of the storm. Do you know who I'm talking about today? Because when I'm lonely, he will comfort me. When I'm in doubt, he's assurance that he is my own. When I'm sick, he steps in and heals me. You ever been sick and needed to be healed? He heals me. When I need somebody because I'm weak, he makes me strong. When I start to give up, he's swift on his feet and he picks me up. Have you ever been picked up when you've been down? When my finances are low, he provides for me. When I'm hungry, he feeds me. When I'm thirsty, he gives me something to drink. When I'm disappointed, he gives me hope. When my head is bowed down low, he tells me, daughter, it's all right, because you can make it through Jesus Christ. I'm here to tell you today that he is a mind regulator. I'm here to tell you that when you're hungry, he will feed you. When you're thirsty, he got some water. When you're disappointed, you can find hope in Jesus Christ. When your finances is low, he will be your provider. When you don't know how to make it, I'm here to tell you that you can do all things through Jesus Christ that gives you strength. John 16:33 says, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. I tell you that you can do all things and you can have peace behind your situation. When trouble comes, Jesus is your peace. When trials come, Jesus is your peace. Matthew 6:34 says, therefore, do not worry about tomorrow. I got to repeat that again. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble on its own. I got to say it one more time. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble on his own. Do not let the troubles take you, but you overcome the trouble. Do not let the trouble take you, but you overcome the trouble. Do not worry, do not fret, and do not be concerned about tomorrow, but only be concerned about today. So I came to tell you today and ask you the question again. Who is your anchor? Who do you put your trust in? Do you have the right anchor? Is that anchor going to hold you in place when the winds come? Because believe me, the winds is going to come. When the winds come, when the troubles come, when the situations happen in your life, when you go through bereavement, when you go through hard times, when you lose a job and you don't have $1 in your bank account, when you don't have a roof over your head, and it looks like you're about to lose your home, when it looks like your car is being repossessed, when it looks like everything is taken away from you and you have nothing but yourself in Jesus, who is your anchor? Is Jesus going to be your anchor? Whose report are you going to believe? Are you going to believe the report of the Lord, or are you going to believe the report of your friend, your family member, your job, or whomever you think that you need to report to? Whose report are you going to believe? I got an anchor, and my anchor will never, ever, ever, ever let me drown. Okay, God be the glory. Thank you, God. May God be the glory. May the Lord keep you. May he continue to shine in your life. May he be the front runner of your life, not the tail of your life, but may he continue to be the head of your life. Maybe I just say, wherever your feet trail, may you trail with Jesus, because you cannot make it if you don't have Jesus. Wherever you go, whatever you say, let it be in Jesus Christ, because we need him. We need him every hour. We need it every minute. We need it every second of the day. We cannot.
Attention ministry leaders. Have you ever considered growing your ministry with television? Well, the Daily Gospel Network could be what you've been looking for. As one of the nation's largest Christian broadcasting companies, the Daily Gospel Network broadcasts all over the world on popular streaming platforms like Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. If you're looking to grow and reach more people, the Daily Gospel Network could be your solution.
Looking for inspiration, motivation, and the good news of Jesus Christ? Look no further. The Daily Gospel Network has what you need. With more than 300 ministries from all over the country broadcasting every week, you're sure to get your dose of spirit-filled encouragement from the great programs on the Daily Gospel Network. Catch the Daily Gospel Network on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, all mobile devices, and the internet.
Church family, I pray you were uplifted by those words. To find out more about this great ministry and to listen to the full sermon, visit them on social media. Meanwhile, stay tuned to the Daily Gospel Network International for another great segment. I'm Amy Smith with the Daily Gospel Network International, and until next time, remember, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.